All right, just laying in bed here. I'm a little tired, but I wanted to get through Exodus 14, and here we are now, looking at the Red Sea being departed, one of the greatest miracles in the Bible, one of the greatest, like, and when I say greatest, like, it's just one of those miracles where you're like, wow, that's like an unbelievable sight. It says in the Bible, like there's no mistaking it. It says there's a wall of water on the left and a wall of water on the right. So it's not like the sea just dried up and there was no water all around. No, no. There was a wall of water on the left and a wall of water on the right. And just imagine the Red Sea. I don't know how deep it is, but maybe it was, maybe it was 20 feet deep, maybe it was 200 feet deep, but just imagine, just walking through just the bottom of the ocean. Just think about where you live and the biggest body of water closest to you. Maybe you live near a big lake, maybe you live near the ocean. Just imagine if that parted and you just saw like the dry ocean floor, the dry lake bottom, and you could walk through it to the other side. Now, there's a lot here. I've heard a lot of preachers say things like, the Red Sea, the parting of the Red Sea is proof that when we encounter obstacles in life, God doesn't always remove them, but he makes a way through them. Thought that was cute. So I felt like sharing that one. But it's true, God doesn't always remove. He doesn't always remove the obstacle per se. He'll make a way through them, but to me, he did remove the obstacle here. He did move a mountain, essentially. Like there's this giant sea that was blocking their safe passage. They had the Egyptians right behind them, and God also supernaturally, it says the angel of the Lord took that cloud that they were following, and instead of going before them, it went behind them to kind of separate them from the Egyptians. So they had the nighttime for Moses to raise his staff and part the waters. So that was happening during the night, that he was parting the waters, that the Lord was parting the waters for them, and he was blocking the Egyptians' path to getting to the Israelites. And I just want to call something out because I heard this recently, was that the angel of the Lord, it says the angel of the Lord, that we're not just talking about any angel here. This is one of those, I forget what they call it, but, before Jesus took on flesh, this is one of those manifestations of the Son of God, the angel of the Lord. Like the angel of the Lord, can be interchangeable. This is what some preachers have shared, that the angel of the Lord can be interchangeable with the Son of God. So, it would make sense that Jesus would be the defense, that he would stand in the gap and protect his people in this way. And not an Egyptian was left. Not an Egyptian warrior or army was left. God said he wanted to make a statement. He wanted to make a statement so that there was no mistaking it for Pharaoh and for the whole army, that he is the Lord. Now, I've read a lot of, books and stuff, and one book I read, it's called Revelation Decoded. It's by Rabbi Kurt Schneider, and what that book says, it compares the book of Revelation and the end times, the last years on earth, or the last years before judgment, before Jesus' return, which is a 7-year period. It's called the tribulation period. It's supposed to be hell on earth. And he's comparing that to the Exodus here. Rabbi Schneider was comparing was comparing that tribulation period, that end time period, with what was happening in Egypt. And there's a lot of reasons for that. It's because of the plagues. The plagues are very similar between the book of Revelation and that tribulation period and what's happening in the Exodus. But also, too, as well, he had pointed out that, I don't know if you've heard of the rapture or not, but the rapture is supposed to, a lot of people believe, I'm not going to share what I believe yet, but a lot of people believe that before this tribulation period, the church of God, the Christians, will be raptured, taken up to heaven, so they won't have to go through that 7-year period of hell on earth. And what he pointed out, this rabbi, who's a pastor, I should say, he's a pastor, but he goes by Rabbi Schneider because he's a Messianic Jew. That means he's a Jew who has received Jesus as his Lord. He is pointing out here that the Exodus, the parting of the waters, is like the rapture. It's like God gathering his people and bringing them to safety, and then pouring out wrath and judgment on the wicked. So that's exactly what happens here, right? He's taking the Israelites out of Egypt. He's bringing them to safety, crossing the Red Sea, and then he's folding in the Red Sea. He's causing the waters to crash and rise over the Egyptians and swallow them whole, killing them. And that's sort of what happens in the book of Revelation. There's a rapture, there's a taking away of the church, and then there's wrath being poured out. But you see, I don't see that happening. He doesn't see that happening. And I'll just tell you what I believe. I kind of align with him, is he doesn't see that happening until close to the end of the 7-year period. Whereas many people in the church believe it's going to happen before the 7-year period even comes to pass. So we could talk about that at a later date, but I thought I would bring that up now because of the, I guess, the correlation there. So my wife is home. Look, it's Brittany.
Hi.
You're on YouTube now. All right. Be blessed.